Welcome to the Lancaster Outlook. I'm Wendy Williams. Well, the city is always looking to bring fun to the community, and the guy that makes that fun happen is Bob Greene. He's the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Arts. Welcome.
Welcome, Wendy. I'm looking forward to talking to you about the exciting things going on in our department.
And you have so many things going on, lots of projects on the table right now. All right, give me some priority because I know you have a lot. What are some of the really great projects that you're working on?
You know, the interesting thing is, even in a little bit more difficult economic environment, here we are looking at expanding a few parks, working on projects with the Prime Desert Woodland, relocating the museum, building Carter Park and Gilly Park in the downtown area.
Okay, let's back up. Expanding what parks?
Well, we'll start off with building Gilly Park. That's really one of the anchors for the downtown area. We've got two of them that the Park, Recreation, and Arts Department is engaged in. The Gilly Park development is not too far from getting ready to go out to bid. That'll be a nice 15-acre park that anchors the downtown. It'll go approximately 1 block north of Lancaster Boulevard. And if you took Elm Avenue, it would run dead center right into the middle of the park. We're actually vacating the street where it would continue as it currently exists, and it'll end right there.
Now, isn't the idea then to incorporate that into the downtown area to make it kind of the center?
Absolutely it is. It gives people that are business people a place to go eat lunch during the day. It gives children that live around the neighborhoods a place to go play and utilize playgrounds and open turf areas and that type of thing. And at the same time, it'll provide amenities for all the people that live down here. We have a lot of seniors adjacent to that park that there will be a perimeter trail they can use to get exercise every day. And then on the other end of Elm Avenue on Lancaster Boulevard, that's the new museum that we're looking at.
I was hearing about that new museum. Go ahead, that sounds really interesting.
It's really an exciting thing. You know, unfortunately, we really have run great programs at the current museum, but people sometimes are not aware of those things.
So do you think it's because it's not located in the best spot?
I think so. I think this will be a lot more high profile as far as being in a unique location right on a busy street, and we're going to change that building. The current building is the old Wells Fargo building at Elm and Lancaster Boulevard. And by the time we're done with it, it should be an icon for the downtown area. Our goal is to make that really the kind of jumpstart the projects down there so that we really develop something that's very unique, very attractive, and that museum will be a place that people will also gather for functions, but have an opportunity to see things that they might not normally see.
Will it be the same as the old museum in that we'll have all kinds of nice exhibits that come in and out on a random basis, or is it going to be different than what we're accustomed to?
It's a great question because it's going to evolve. My feeling is we'll incorporate some of the existing things that we've always had and have offered at the current museum. But the new museum will offer us something different. We have a new curator who came to us via the Getty Museum.
Oh, excellent.
So he's very well qualified, has had a lot of experience dealing with antiquities and with art, and our goal is to make it somewhat more of a local treasure, because if you think about it, it's the only museum in North LA County. Otherwise, you would go to the Getty or Pasadena areas. And so now we'll have a museum in our backyard that we hope will continue to evolve and offer things that people would have to go to Los Angeles area typically to see.
Now, when we think of parks and recreation, we always think of you know, the festivals and such like that, but there's a lot of sports that go on, and you have some national tournaments coming up in 2009. Tell me about them.
Yeah, you know, it's very unique what we do because we got involved in tourism, and you have to give Lyle Norton, the previous director of the department, absolutely. He did a great job while he was here for the previous 20 years, and I worked a considerable amount of time with Lyle and got involved in a number of these things. But national tournaments are something we've done for a while. And this year we'll have the Cal South Regional Soccer Tournament. Now, why is that important? Probably more so than it ever was before, because we'll bring 250 teams in here, and those teams will end up spending 1 week in our community.
So that's hotels,
exactly,
and restaurants, and we see the same thing with softball, don't we?
We do. We'll have 2 national tournaments that are coming up. We have one in '09 that is the women's B tournament, or actually girls B tournament, I should say, 16 and 18-year-olds. We'll have approximately 50 teams. Sounds small, but again, they'll be here for a week.
Well, that's because those facilities were created as complexes way back when. There was a lot of foresight that went into that.
There really was, and you know, here we had an abundance of land, and somebody figured out a way to leverage that land into tourism dollars. It's not the most beautiful beautiful scenic place to come to possibly in Southern California. But if you look at it in regard to sports tourism, it's wonderful. Between that and movies, which we also have a film office in our department that facilitates that along with the city of Palmdale, it's really worked very well for us in bringing new dollars into the community.
You mentioned the film department. How is it doing? I know that they say a lot of the movies are heading out of state because it's difficult to work in California, but in Lancaster, being the most friendly business community.
That's right.
How is our film industry?
You know, it's actually quite good. Pauline East, who does a fabulous job as a commissioner for the state of California in our office, really does a great job of scouting and facilitating people coming up for commercials, for feature films, for photo shoots, for still photos in magazines, that type of thing. Overall, each year she averages somewhere between $6 to $8 million that come in new revenue. And the studios, frankly, they spend quite a bit when they come in. They do everything to a high level, and cost is usually not a big issue. So she really makes sure it happens, and frankly, it benefits the entire valley, because she looks at not just Lancaster, but outside our area too, to facilitate that.
So many questions to ask you. You have a whole host of 2009 special events coming up. Can you list them for me?
Yeah, a little bit. I can tell you what's coming up in the immediate future. We'll have some holiday programs that we do annually, but then right after that, in the beginning of the January, we'll have the Martin Luther King Day celebration, which has been a community outreach program now, where we go out and help people clean up areas, do that type of thing, and the entire community gets involved. It's really a very good program. We'll follow that with our festival. You know, again, the Poppy Festival will be front and center for us.
So the economy isn't slowing you down a bit?
Well, we're adjusting to it to some levels, but at the same time, when you have an economy like this, people need things to stay in their own community, to do things, to get a chance to not drive and enjoy, you know, whatever they can for entertainment value's sake. It really works well. And here we are in our Performing Arts Center, where of course we offer a season of different performances and functions that really do help the community celebrate Lancaster as being a unique place to live.
Now, I've got to touch on this small little known place called the Prime Desert Woodlands, and a lot of people don't even know it exists, and it's just wonderful. Describe it.
You know, the way I explain this to people is to say, if you've lived in the desert most of your life, or if you've lived here even for a short period of time, odds are you probably never got out of your car and walked through the desert. You know, you live in a desert, but you haven't really experienced it. So the Prime Desert Woodland is a series of trails, and people have the opportunity to go through miles of trails now. We're probably somewhere getting close with a new expansion of another mile of trails that's currently underway. That expansion should be done in probably another 90 days.
Oh, excellent.
And so that, along with a pavilion that we have where groups can gather, because we have a number of school children that come through and do field trips where we have naturalists give explanations of what they can see and visit and experience in the desert, and they talk from an expert level, so they get a chance to really learn things that they may have just taken for granted. But it's a beautiful place, and here it is in the middle of our backyard, so to speak, surrounded by some homes, but at the same time, when you get out there in the afternoon, it's very quiet.
It's gorgeous.
And you see the rabbits and quail and even coyotes on occasion running through the area, and it's just really beautiful. Great experience.
It's so much on tap. I really need to tell our viewers to check out the website, because there's so much to know, and you really have to get a handle on it. You need to look at the website. But thank you for everything and all your information.
You're so welcome. My pleasure.
All right. You've been listening to Bob Greene, the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Arts. This is the Lancaster Outlook.